and the new head football coach of the Carolina Panthers, Matt Rhule.
As you just saw and what you've probably already known, Matt Rhule is the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's already been a lot of talk on whether or not he'll be successful, so let's go over a couple of reasons why and why not he'll be a good coach in the NFL. Most college and NFL head coaches have most, if not all, of their experience on one side of the football. Matt Rhule is special in this case in that over the years he's had so many different coaching positions, both on offensive and defense. He played linebacker in college and started out as a linebackers coach, quickly became a defensive line coach, and through the years, some of his titles have included special teams coordinator, running game coordinator, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, tight end coach. He was even assistant offensive line coach up at the Giants. All this varied experience is definitely one of the reasons he's been so successful as a head coach and one of the reasons he got this job, because they need a full coach to come into Carolina, not just one that's good as an offensive coach or defensive coach. While all his varied experience is definitely a positive for him, a lot of the detractors are going to point and say that while he has this experience, only 1 year has been in the pros. Coaching at the college level is extremely different than coaching at the professional level. We've seen coaches that technically had better records than him. Nick Saban back in the day, Steve Spurrier, these guys that were great coaches not make it in the pros. So his lack of NFL experience is definitely a detractor for him. Now, Carolina is in the unenviable position in that they're probably going to have to go through a rebuild. No NFL or college team wants to do that, and it takes a special head coach to actually see a program through a rebuild. And Matt Rhule has already done it twice now, which is one of the reasons he's probably going to be successful as the head coach. He led the Temple Owls to a 10-2 record in only his third season as the head coach, and in the fourth season as the head coach, he led the team to its first conference championship since 1967. Remember, his first year at Baylor, the team only went 1-11 and was coming off a lot of sexual assault scandals and players leaving the program to go elsewhere because it was just in such disarray. Last year was his third season coaching there, and Baylor went 11-3 and made it to the Sugar Bowl this year. And while he has been successful at rebuilding these two programs that he's been the head coach at, the detractors again are going to say that he's been successful, but not incredibly successful. Yes, he does have the record as the only coach to turn a 1-win program in 2 years into an 11-win program, but they were only an 11-win program for 1 year. He hasn't really sustained that success, and a lot of people are going to say that it's kind of hard to tell truly what he's going to be, how successful he's going to be, because they just don't have a large enough sample size. To bring them up again, both Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier had led their teams to longer runs at success at the top of the country. Both coaches had won the national championship before, and both coaches did not make it as NFL head coaches. As I've said, this is going to be one of the things that a lot of those guys that don't think that Rhule will be able to do it can point to and say that they just don't have enough data. We don't know what he's going to be like, so it's better to lean on the side of him not being successful. The last reason I'm going to go over why Matt Rhule should be a good head coach is just because he doesn't stick to only one system. Remember when Chip Kelly came in the NFL, he had his offensive system, he implemented it. Matt Rhule, when he was at Temple, did a lot of hard-nosed football. A lot of those runs, a lot of straight up the middle, offensive line taking control. When he's been at Baylor, he's utilized the running backs more as receivers, used them more as chess pieces to get open and allow other people to get open, run more RPOs as well. Regardless of whether Cam Newton comes back and is ready to play at the level he used to, Matt Rhule still has a couple great playmakers in Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and the incredibly fast wide receiver Curtis Samuel. He has some of those guys that he can move around, uses those chess pieces I just talked about, and because he's not going to force these guys to fit into his system, fit into maybe just the system they're not great at, he should be a more successful head coach and be able to help this rebuild process go faster. Now, the negative side is going to counter that entire argument by saying, yes, he has shown that both offensively and defensively, he creates his schemes to fit his players. Yes, he can make them be successful, but to sound like a broken record, he hasn't done it at the NFL level. He's only had 1 year coaching at the NFL level, and it wasn't as a coordinator. We don't know if his schemes are going to be successful at that NFL level. again, that's going to be that negative side. But while the negative side is always going to say that someone's not perfect, someone may not be just right for that one position, we really never know till we see the guy coach. Now, personally, I'm going to be rooting for him. I'd love to see him be successful. All the interviews I've seen of him and everything I've read, he seems like a good coach. Seems like all his players love him. And reading all this, he hasn't had a scandal, which is kind of amazing, especially today. So here I am. I'm rooting for the guy. I think he'll be a pretty good head coach. Now, how good he'll be, we have yet to see. All right, that's the end of the video. Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe. If you like it, leave a comment. If not, leave a comment. Maybe I'll fix it if it makes any sense. So again, thanks for listening, guys. You have a great one.
After I'm done, I'm going to take my suit off and get back to work. And I promise you, you'll get my best. Keep pounding. Yeah!